Hi, I'm Arabella, a storyteller on YouTube. This story is inspired by real relationship confessions and has been fictionalized for storytelling purposes. Names, details, and events have been changed. If this story moves you, or if you see a part of yourself in it, please like the video and subscribe to support my channel. Now, let's begin. I used to think an affair needed darkness, a hotel room, a hidden phone, a lie whispered after midnight, but mine began under warm dinner lights with wine on the table. Our friends laughing around us and my wife sitting close enough to hear every joke. No one noticed when our eyes held too long. Or maybe they did. Maybe the whole room learned to look away before she did. I did not just break my marriage. I broke the little family we all pretended was safe. Before I ruined everything, we used to call each other family. Not the kind you are born into. The kind you choose after enough dinners, enough late nights. Enough inside jokes that stop needing explanations. There were 8 of us most weekends. Sometimes more, depending on who brought a cousin, a coworker, or someone they were dating that month. Our houses took turns becoming the meeting place. One Saturday it was ours, the next it was theirs. Someone always brought wine. Someone always forgot ice. Someone always stayed too late standing in the kitchen with a half-empty glass, saying they really should go while making no move toward the door. It felt safe. That was the dangerous part. My wife loved those nights. She would plan the food like she was hosting a holiday. She knew who hated cilantro, who only drank red, who pretended not to like dessert but always took the biggest slice. She kept extra blankets in the hallway closet because someone always ended up on the couch after too much wine and too many stories. And I loved watching her in the middle of it all, laughing, moving from room to room, making everyone feel like they belonged. People said our group was rare. They said adult friendships were not supposed to feel that easy. That most people lost touch, got busy, had kids, moved away, became strangers slowly. But we had somehow held on. Birthdays, barbecues, game nights, holiday dinners where someone always burned something and everyone still ate it. We were proud of that. We thought closeness meant we had built something strong. I did not understand that closeness without boundaries is not strength. It is a room with too many unlocked doors. And I was the one who opened the wrong one. She did not enter my life like a stranger. She was already sitting at our table. That is what made it easy to lie to myself. If she had been some woman from a bar, some name my wife had never heard, some face outside the life we shared, maybe I would have seen the danger sooner. Maybe. But she was not outside anything. She was part of us. She knew which cabinet held the wine glasses. She knew my wife hated doing dishes after hosting, so she always rolled up her sleeves and helped in the kitchen. She knew the stories we told too often. The jokes everyone groaned at, the songs we played when the night got loud enough for people to stop caring how they sounded. She belonged in the room. At least, that was what I kept telling myself. She was the one who refilled glasses before anyone asked. The one who remembered a joke from 6 months ago and brought it back at exactly the right moment. The one who could tease me in front of everyone and make it look harmless because everyone was laughing. Including my wife. That was the cover. My wife laughed too. So I told myself nothing was wrong. The first time her eyes stayed on mine a little too long, I looked away. Then I looked back. That was the first mistake I pretended was not a mistake. After that, I started noticing where she sat. Whether she laughed at something I said. Whether she poured wine for me before pouring for anyone else. Small things. Tiny things. The kind of things you can explain away until they become a language. And because she was already inside our circle, she did not have to sneak into my life. She had been invited there by the people who trusted us both. That is what makes me sick now. The door was already open. And I was the one who decided to make it dangerous. The private joke started in front of everyone, so I told myself they were harmless. That was how I excused it. If my wife heard the joke, it could not be dangerous. If the whole table laughed, it could not be betrayal. If nothing had to be whispered yet, then maybe nothing was wrong. That was the lie I liked best. It started small. She would tease me about always overcooking the steak. I would tease her about pretending to know wine just because she swirled the glass before drinking. My wife would laugh and say, "You two are ridiculous." And because my wife laughed, I let myself relax into it. I let myself enjoy being noticed. Then the jokes became sharper, more specific. The kind of specific that only works when two people have started paying too much attention. She knew how I took my drink. She knew when I was about to make a sarcastic comment before I said it. She could look at me across the table after someone else said something, and I would know exactly what she was thinking. That should have scared me. Instead, it made me feel chosen in a room full of people. One night, she poured me more wine without asking. Just reached for my glass, filled it, and slid it back across the table. No one else noticed. Or maybe they did and decided it was too small to matter. I told myself the same thing. Too small. Too public. Too easy to explain. But later, the public jokes started following us home. A message after dinner. Did you survive your own cooking? A meme only we understood. A quick, "You looked quiet tonight." That one was different. Because it was not a joke, it was attention. And attention becomes dangerous when you start hiding how much you want it. I never called it flirting. I called it friendship. I called it group chemistry. I called it harmless. But harmless things do not make you turn your phone away from your wife when it lights up. Wine did not create the betrayal. It only made it harder for us to pretend we were not already walking toward it. That night was supposed to be like every other night. Dinner at our friend's house. Too much food. Too much noise. Someone telling the same story they always told after the second glass. My wife sitting beside me laughing with her head tilted back, looking happy in the way she always did when everyone was together. I remember thinking how normal it all looked. That is what makes it worse. Nothing about the room warned anyone. The lights were warm. The table was crowded. Plates were passed from hand to hand. Someone had brought a bottle of wine that was more expensive than usual, and everyone made a joke about pretending to taste the difference. She sat across from me at first. Then after dessert, when people started moving around, she ended up beside me. Not touching. Just close enough that I noticed. Her knee brushed mine under the table once. We both moved away. Then later, it happened again. This time, neither of us moved as quickly. That should have been enough. A warning. A small red light in the middle of an ordinary evening. But I had already gotten used to calling small things harmless. She reached for the bottle at the same time I did, and our hands touched around the glass. Everyone else was talking. No one stopped. But for 1 second we did. We looked at each other too long, not long enough for the whole room to go silent, just long enough for my wife to stop laughing. I saw it. Her smile did not disappear completely. It just paused. She looked from me to her, then back to her plate. And because she did not say anything, I told myself there was nothing to answer for. That was the cruelty of it. When something happens in front of everyone, the person who notices it first has to decide whether to trust their own eyes or protect the room from the truth. The group became the stage where we learned how to hide in plain sight. That is the part I did not understand then. A secret feels less like a secret when it is standing in the middle of a crowded room. We did not disappear at first. We did not sneak away for hours. We just learned how to use everyone else as cover. If the group went to dinner, we could sit near each other because seating was always messy anyway. Someone moved a chair. Someone needed more space. Someone said, "Just sit there." And suddenly we were close enough to speak under the noise. If everyone moved to the kitchen, she and I could stay behind to clear plates. Helpful, normal, expected. If someone took a picture, we could stand beside each other because no one studied group photos for guilt. At least that is what I told myself. The group chat helped too. A message to everyone could hide a message meant for one person. A joke sent in the group could become a private thread 5 minutes later. A plan for Saturday could turn into, "Are you coming?" and then I was hoping you would. I started living for those little openings. The moment my wife stepped outside to take a call, the moment someone asked for ice, the moment everyone laughed loudly enough that I could lean closer and say something no one else would hear. And every time we got away with it, the room felt less dangerous. That was the sick part. We used the people who loved us to make the lie feel safe. Our friends became background noise. Their laughter became cover. Their invitations became excuses. Their homes became places where I could betray my wife without technically leaving the world she trusted. I told myself no one was being hurt if no one knew. But that was not true. Every dinner we attended became contaminated. Every picture became evidence waiting for someone to look closer. Every memory we were making together already had a crack inside it. I thought I was only hiding from my wife, but I was lying to the whole room, and the whole room kept making space for me, because they still thought I belonged there. The first time we were alone, I still called it an accident. That was another lie. It happened after one of those dinners that used to feel endless in the best way. People had started leaving slowly the way they always did. Someone hugged everyone twice. Someone forgot their jacket. Someone stood by the door for 10 minutes still talking keys in hand, refusing to actually go. My wife was in the living room with two others, laughing about something on someone's phone. I was in the kitchen. She was there too. Just the two of us. Dishes in the sink. Half-empty glasses on the counter. Music still playing too low from the speaker. The kind of ordinary mess that comes after a night where everyone feels safe. She handed me a plate. Our fingers touched. That had happened before. But this time, no one was watching. Or maybe that was what made me stop pretending. She said, "You've been quiet tonight." I said, "So have you." Such a small sentence. Nothing in it should have mattered. But the air changed. I knew it. She knew it. We both stood there surrounded by dishes from a dinner my wife had helped cook in a house full of people who trusted us, and still neither of us stepped back fast enough. I told myself it was the wine, the mood, the closeness, the kind of mistake people make and regret immediately. But a mistake is something you do before you understand it. I understood. I understood before it happened. I understood while it was happening. And afterward, I still walked back into the living room like I had not just crossed a line in the next room. My wife looked up and smiled at me. Not suspicious. Not yet. Just tired and happy. Someone made another joke. Everyone laughed. And I laughed too. That is the part that still disgusts me. Not only that I betrayed her, but that I could step back into the circle afterward, stand beside the people who called us family, and let them keep believing I was still one of them. My wife did not find out from a message. She found out from the way the room changed when we looked at each other. That sounds impossible until you have been inside a group where everyone knows something but no one wants to be the first person to say it. It happened at another dinner. Of course it did. By then the dinners had stopped feeling like comfort to me. They felt like performance. Smile at the right time. Sit far enough away. Do not answer her too quickly. Do not look at her when someone says something only she would understand. But the harder I tried to act normal, the more unnatural everything became. That night, someone made a joke about couples having secrets. A stupid joke. The kind of joke that would have disappeared in any other room. But she laughed first. Then I laughed. And for 1 second our eyes met. Too quickly. Too knowingly. The table did not go silent all at once. It happened in pieces. One person stopped reaching for the bread. Another looked down into his glass. Someone changed the subject too fast. My wife noticed all of it. Not just my face. The room. The way people avoided looking at her. The way one friend suddenly became very interested in clearing plates. The way another said, "So anyway," with a voice too loud for the moment. That was when I saw her understand. Not everything, but enough. She looked around the table and I could see the question forming before she asked it. How long have I been the only person in this room who did not know? No one said anything. That was the answer. I wanted to reach for her hand. I did not. Because touching her in that moment would have been another performance, and I think she knew that too. She stood up slowly. Her chair made a small sound against the floor. Everyone heard it. Then she looked at me and said, "I need air." No one followed her. Not me. Not at first. And that was the moment I realized the betrayal had become bigger than the affair. It had filled the whole room, and everyone had been breathing around it. When the truth finally broke open, no one in the group knew where to stand. That was the part I had never considered. I had thought betrayal happened between two people, maybe three. The person who lied, the person who was lied to, and the person they lied with. But that night, I watched it spread across the table like spilled wine. My wife did not come back right away. When she did, her face looked different. Not louder. Not broken in a way people could comfort easily. Just clear. She stood at the end of the table looking at all of us, and suddenly, every chair felt like it belonged to someone on trial. She looked at me first, then at her, then at the friends who had gone too quiet too quickly. No one moved. Someone said her name, softly. She turned toward him and asked, "Did you know he opened his mouth?" Closed it. That was enough. Another friend said, "We didn't know for sure." My wife laughed once. Not because anything was funny. Because not for sure is what people say when they want the comfort of innocence without the responsibility of honesty. She looked around the room again. "How many dinners?" she asked. No one answered. How many times did I sit here while everyone pretended not to see it? Still nothing. I wanted to say this was my fault. I wanted to take all of it onto myself. Because suddenly that seemed noble. But it would have been another way to control the damage. Because yes, I had betrayed her. But I had also placed everyone else in a room where their silence became part of the wound. The people who knew too much felt guilty. The people who knew nothing felt humiliated for not seeing it. The couples at the table started looking at each other differently, as if trust itself had become contagious in the wrong direction. The group chat went silent before anyone even picked up their phones. You could feel it happening. The little family we had built around birthdays, dinners, jokes, and late-night kitchens was splitting into sides no one wanted to choose, and my wife stood in the middle of it, realizing she had not only lost me, she had lost the room that was supposed to catch her. After that, no one hosted dinner anymore. Not officially. No one announced that the group was over. No one sent a message saying, "I guess we should stop pretending." There was no final fight, no dramatic goodbye. No one standing in a doorway saying this family was finished. It just stopped. That was how I knew I had broken something bigger than my marriage. The group chat went quiet first. It used to be loud all day. Pictures of burnt toast. Complaints about work. Last-minute plans. Someone asking who was bringing wine. Someone else sending the same stupid meme for the fourth time because they knew it would still make everyone laugh. Then, after that night, nothing. A few people typed and deleted. I saw the little bubbles appear, then vanish. Even silence looked uncomfortable. The first Friday came and went without anyone asking where we were eating. Then a birthday happened with only 3 people in the photo. Then another couple stopped coming to anything at all. Someone removed old pictures from their profile. Someone else made a new chat that I was not invited to. My wife left the original one without saying anything. Just her name disappearing from the list. That hurt more than I expected. Not because I deserved to be included. Because it made the ending visible. The table that used to be too crowded became too clean. No extra chairs pulled from the hallway. No coats piled on the guest bed. No empty wine bottles lined up on the counter. No voices talking over each other while my wife laughed from the kitchen. I would walk through our house and remember all of them there. Daniel opening the wrong cabinet every time. Maya stealing fries off everyone's plates. My wife standing by the stove pretending to be annoyed that people never left when they said they would. And then I would remember what I turned it into. A place where people had to choose. A place where silence became guilt. A place where memories started needing warnings. That is the thing about destroying trust inside a group. You do not just lose invitations. You make everyone question every night they once thought was safe. I did not just break my marriage. I broke the place where all of us used to belong. That is the part I understand now. If I had betrayed my wife somewhere far away, it still would have destroyed her. I know that. I am not trying to make one kind of betrayal sound clean, but what I did happened inside the little world we had built together. The dinners, the birthdays, the group photos, the kitchens where everyone stood too long after midnight holding glasses, laughing like adulthood, had not made us lonely yet. I turned all of that into evidence. Now, when my wife thinks back on those nights, she does not just remember the food, the music, or the jokes. She wonders who saw what, who looked away, who knew before she did, who laughed with her while silently protecting me. And maybe not everyone knew. Maybe some people only felt something was wrong and did not know how to name it. But that is the cruelty of betrayal in a room full of friends. It does not only damage the truth, it damages memory. It makes every warm moment ask for a second trial. I lost my wife, yes, but I also destroyed the small family that used to gather around our table and believe we were safe with each other. No one calls it that anymore. Family. Not after what I did. So I will leave you with this. Is betrayal inside a marriage already painful enough? Or does it become something even worse when it also breaks the room full of people who once made that marriage feel held? Thank you for listening to this story with me. If it touched you, please don't forget to like this video and follow the channel for more stories like this. And most importantly, leave a comment below with your thoughts, how this story made you feel, and what you would have done in their place.